I was in high school, I think, when my first friend was impacted by gun violence. The first time somebody I knew was shot.
Violence is underscored by trauma and poverty in every community that we work in.
So when we look at violence overall within our communities and we look at the harm that's caused, traditionally we only think of law enforcement, prosecution.
And it was as if it was just to be expected that he would be injured by gun violence and that it was somehow okay and not a crisis.
You know, back in the 90s, a lot of the conversation was around intergenerational gang violence. Here we are inheriting trauma and repeating the trauma.
I know we live in a country where you say public safety and people say police. Police are only one part of the public safety ecosystem. You literally can't have public safety without the public.
Police officers usually don't live in the community. There's not many of them live in the community, right? So if you want somebody to provide safety and look after your baby, look after your community, you want it to be somebody that's gonna live there and go through the struggle and bring you out the struggle.
We gathered about 20 key thought leaders across the country who have been doing community violence intervention or community-based public safety. We stopped describing ourselves as gang intervention, as crisis intervention, because we felt like those were limiting and it didn't describe the totality of the work that we were actually doing in the community. So we came up with the term Community-Based Public Safety Collective.
At its heart, the collective is about investing in the Black and brown leadership in communities impacted by violence around the country. They've been under-resourced, under-respected, under-invested in.
We actually work with the CBOs one-on-one, community-based organizations who are doing the work in intervention. We dissect exactly what is it that they need, and we're able to fund them through our philanthropic dollars.
This is an industry. We're helping people to save lives. And many people get into this work because of some personal trauma, you know, some loss or some violence that's happened to them.
I grew up in the Jordan Housing Projects in Watts, and I participated in urban street gang wars. Coming up in the neighborhood, you know, witnessing things that no child should ever be subject to, losing a lot of my friends, went to college, had a transformative experience, and wanted to come back and stop the killing in my neighborhood.
Coalition to Advance Public Safety stemmed from the previous initiative that the collective led with the White House called Civic, a project that was to fund on a federal level to provide capacity building grants to community violence intervention orgs and to reduce gun violence by 20%.
It is a blessing to be working for the Community-Based Public Safety Collective to serve in this way. These folks are doing life-saving work that we're working with, that we're giving this training and technical assistance to. And everyone at the collective believes in it, and everyone at the collective is pushing for it.
Building their capacity as leaders, as public safety professionals. We train them on everything from field operations and professionalizing their work in community to how they manage their bank accounts and how they do human resources and like the business of running violence intervention organizations.
We deploy nobody in the field who has not been trained. PCI, TI, and BUILD has really been leading the way in making sure that a lot of our practitioners in the field speak a common language.
It's always interesting to me to see the transformation when we start to train people, that it clicks, that they didn't even see themselves as professionals. When they start realizing that this is a profession, it's enlightening for them.
Historically, CVI has always been fragmented, right? So they haven't been fully paid for the work that they're doing.
When you can provide a space where they can build from that and build a career, build a professional career and get paid for it, it changes communities.
I think that for decades, community-based organizations and community members have been taking care of each other without funding, without support, without resources, just based on a combination of love for their communities.
Public safety is not just the absence of violence and crime. It's also the presence of well-being and the infrastructure to support victims and survivors in their respective healing journey.
Government dollars and philanthropic dollars are really hard to access and to manage. And folks have to be trained. They have to be taught to do it.
These organizations know how to do the work. They don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to receive funding and be able to produce results.
With the money that we're providing, it can help to, hire new people. It can help them to do professional development.
Helping them to build their infrastructure so they can scale their organizations, scale their programs.
As a community, we're learning from each other, and it just makes the work more vibrant, more real for folks, more immediate. And we also know we're not alone, that we're doing it in community, and it's just powerful.
We're creating a sustainable element that could continue and hopefully reverse, what's happened over the years.
Establishing hope again. I mean, I know so many times things seem so like destitute and you don't see much hope, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I think providing that light at the end of the tunnel is the biggest thing for me.
We're not enforcing laws. We ain't got guns on our hip. What we have is a deep relationship, and we know the communities in which we serve. And when we're educated about resources and services and where they are, then we can play a more holistic role in terms of safety in the community.